Good morning, everyone. We are live at Jeff Sessions' house at DOJ, and of course we got Andy's house over there, FBI. So we're checking out. We came down to see Peter Strokes here, see if he's going to meet with us. You know, Lisa Page resigned, but her shared Dropbox husband or lover, Peter Strokes, is still over there in the basement. He's over there in the basement in HR going through everybody's records, organizing all the reprisals. We've got a run this morning here on Pennsylvania Avenue. So we've got a Pennsylvania Avenue shut down. But there it is, Department of Justice. And I'm sorry I didn't have Wi-Fi this morning. So this is it. Wi-Fi at the hotel didn't work. And when I look at these doors, you would think with the expense of those doors, you would have a little justice inside. And it's particularly, I look back at this series and starting all the way back at Mark Rich and going all the way back to Peter Comey and, Scooter Libby, who helped get Mark Rich off from the get the pardon with Bill Clinton, and how the school place really started with Mark Rich. I guess that's the thing I wanted to say. It's always, you're fighting for, to give a wrist slap to Mark Rich, and it takes 8 years, and then finally 8 years later, there's a wrist slap, and it's a $12 fine, that kind of thing. Good morning. If you look at Scooter Libby and how close of a friend he was to Paul Wolfowitz and Dick Cheney. I mean, those three, Scooter Libby, Paul Wolfowitz, and Dick Cheney, are like the three amigos. Those are another three amigos. And if you look at it, we're kind of living in the same world. I mean, the Awans are basically just a creation. The Awans in Attar are just a recreation of the original group with Valerie Plame. It's just different players. It's still controlling uranium around the world. It's still exfiltrating secrets. If you watched in this series, the first 125 days, and I basically started when Thomas Paine of True Pundit came out with this article saying there's 650,000 secrets on this server for Huma Abedin. And they have different directories and different folders. And I speculated that each one of those folders is a BlackBerry folder, and it's secure BlackBerries is the perfect way, by giving out to devices, of doling out pay-to-play in a very folder-by-folder methodology, right? And I surmised that there had to be a BlackBerry server, and there had to be a spy ring in there. There had to be a spy ring in Congress. This is before the Awan story broke. And I had talked about the DynCorp Corporation and the DynCorp backbone, and how in the old days with super spy Bob Maxwell, Israeli spy Bob Maxwell, that's exactly what he did. He used the PROMIS software to exfiltrate data from all the places you see on this street. FBI, DOJ, archives, everything. And by the looks of what was on the Huma server, before the Awans ever even came out, I said, there has to be a spy ring in the Congress. And sure enough, it appeared. The Awans appeared. And everything we talked about with, the folders and the access to the folders and the BlackBerries and so forth, and Hillary's BlackBerry and how it was separate and unbreakable by NSA, all turned out to be exactly what the Awans did. So I had a lot of help with I had a lot of help from folks with the research and metadata, but really 120 days into this, we had already predicted the Awans must exist. We just didn't know the names. And if you go back to the early episodes, it's all about Mark Rich, it's all about Wolfowitz, it's all about Dick Cheney, it's all about Woolsey. Sorry, there's a marathon starting here or something. It's everything was right. Everything was right from the day one. The only thing is, like I've said, we just filled in more details as we go here. Lafarge is the latest It's the 21st annual race for, and I don't know the details, but you can see here. And then, of course, Trump Tower this morning. So this morning I wanted to say, and you have Trump just giving Scooter Libby a pardon. George Bush gave him a pardon on a couple of counts, but I can't remember if Fitzgerald is the one who went after Scooter Libby. They were all in the uranium game together. All this uranium game that we're talking about with uranium one and megatons to megawatts was the Valerie Plame game. And again, if you go back to the early days of the series, we called it with Valerie Plame, we called it with Sid Blumenthal, we called it with Tyler Drumheller, all the key people, General Grange, all the ports, the Port of Norfolk, Port of South Carolina, everything's been on the money. Really, you go throughout the whole series. Nothing has really, there's been no wasted effort, and that's the beautiful part about it. So I guess that's it. I just wanted to give a little proof of life here at Trump Tower, let everybody know what's going on in Washington, D.C. I might do a Mark Rich viewing list, just so everybody can see kind of how over the full flight of the arrow of the series, we're right on the money. Is Seth Rich really just a kind of a follow-on to Mark Rich school plays? Is Iran-Contra just an extension? Is Iran-Contra just an extension of Iran-Contra? Those original concepts as models have proven again and again to pay off, because that's exactly what it's been. You just think maybe Bob Maxwell is faked his death, and so did Mark Rich, and they're sitting in Tel Aviv with Seth, and they're having a hell of a good laugh on all of us. They're using gangs to take territory for mining and oil and minerals, right? And doesn't that really go back to all the way to Winston Churchill, 1923, using poison gas in the Muslim Brotherhood to reorient the kingdoms of Saudi Arabia and creating the different kingdoms like Bahrain and Dubai and all these other principalities and so forth to gain access for the elite in Europe? I think that's really kind of still what's happening. And I feel bad because it's all done behind people of color. It's done behind, people of Muslim nations. It's done in the name of people of other colors. Nobody ever says the Cherokee. Nobody ever says, hey, the Cherokees took, maybe they do, I guess in the Northwest Pipeline. Nobody ever uses us, to take over any oil and gas areas. Maybe they do. I guess they do in some of the Indian reservations. We'll leave it there. Elizabeth and Warren and I are going to be meeting in here in the National Cherokee Association. She wanted to make sure it was at Trump Tower. So we'll leave it there live from Washington, D.C., the 21st annual Run for Something.